Hey everybody, what's up y'all? Welcome back to my channel, Tammy Talks here. So let's go ahead and jump into 90 Day Fiance Before the 90 Days, Season 5, Episode 7, Never Have I Ever. So let's start with Usman and Kim. So it starts off with Usman and Kim are able to finally spend some time together because Usman is done filming his music video, which is like the big reason that they came over on the trip. So they're going to take a trip to Stone Town. So while they're in the car, he tells her that he's happy she's there. He really likes her a lot. And she's like, yeah, I love you. And I'm like, oh, Kim. Oh, Kim, why did you have to say that? So he just kind of looks at her and it's like, okay, yeah. And I'm like, all right. I mean, you know you're getting played, but whatever, girl. Let's just go along for the ride. So they are at like a little shop and they're looking at like different types of hats. And Kim mentions how some of the hats look like hats that Michael Jackson used to wear. And Usman is like, you were like obsessed with him. And he's like, I like Michael Jackson too, but like, damn. And I felt Usman when he said that. Because I like Michael Jackson too. Huge Michael Jackson fan. But damn. So he tries on like a fedora and she was like, oh, this is like the smooth criminal hat. She was like, ooh, he's gonna do something to me. And I said, okay, Kim, calm down, girl. So Usman ends up buying the hat and like wearing it right away. So after their little day together, they're back in the car, or they are waiting for the car service to come. And she tells Usman that she thinks that he should stay in her room tonight. And he is just kind of looking at her and he was like, no, I don't want to do that. So he was like, we still need some time to get to know each other. And I will say this. It seems like a big thing with some of these couples is it's always one person that's like, well, we have been talking online for X amount of time, so now we should just be together and sleeping in the same bed and having sex and doing all this stuff right away. And it's like, let's be rational, people. It's not like you've been talking to this person and seeing this person, in the flesh for X amount of time. This is like an online date. That is crazy to me. So she's mad and he's like, I'm confused because we both agreed that you would have your room, I would have my room. So like what's changed, what's different all of a sudden? And he said, because we really need to get to know each other. And even though we know that Usman is there on bullshit, like that's real. We need to get to know each other. So like, why would I jump and go stay in your room right away? It's giving thirsty, Kim, and I don't like it. Like, let's not. It's bad enough you done flew over to this other continent, country, city to see him. Don't do that. So then he was like, it feels like you're trying to gain something on this trip. And I said, oh shit. So Usman feels that like she wants to be able to like tell people that she slept with him or stayed in the bed with him. And I'm like, let's not get beside ourselves, Usman. But I mean, I guess what he's saying to me, the way that Kim is going about it is a very healthy assessment. It's a very healthy assessment. So then she got mad. She was like, I'm not begging you for sex. Like, I really like you. I want us to spend some time together. That's why I'm here. He comes back at her and it's like, I told you from day one. I said, not from jump. So she said that she has done everything that, she can to try to get attention and affection from him. She's been attentive, she's been caring, she's been sensitive, she's been patient. And she's just kind of like, she's over it. And she just kept saying that she's not going to ask him to stay with her anymore. Now the ball is in his court. This stuff is going to have to come from him and what he wants to do going forward in their relationship. So he kept like trying to hold her hand and that whole Kimberly bullshit. And she was like over it. She was over it. She said she feels defeated because he doesn't want to stay with her. They only have so much time left on the trip, and she's seeing now that it's going to be harder and harder for them to like get together and form a relationship and like kind of start bonding if they're not spending meaningful time together. So she's back at her hotel and back in her room, and a few hours later, she's like, looks like she didn't just get out the shower. She has her pajamas on. She's on, has her phone. And there's a knock on the door, and it's Usman. He comes over in some shorts and a t-shirt and was like, should I stay here with you tonight? And she was like, if you want to. So he agrees to stay. And I'm like, cool. So she's like, do you want to watch a movie? I mean, we can have sex. And I said, Kim, this is what he's talking about. Like, he came over. Why not just sit and talk? Why not, suggest off rip? Let's watch a movie. Let's play a card game. Let's listen to some music. Let's do something like that. You got super thirsty and jumped straight to sex. Super thirsty and jumped straight to sex. So he was like, it's too soon for us to have sex. And I kind of feel like this why he didn't want to come to your room. Because you want some bullshit, Kim. And you know you want some bullshit. So he goes and gets in bed. I'm tripped out because we are still in the middle of the pandemic. And he wore these clothes outside and got in the bed. But alrighty. So he gets in bed and then he's like, we got to have a partition. We got to have something separating us. So he puts up like a wall of pillows, and she was like, is that necessary? And then I feel like I took a sip of my water, and then things just escalated to the point where she was like, well, I want to see your body, pull it out. Because he was like, we need to partition because I don't want to wake up middle of the night and hear zoop because you don't try to pull me out. And she started talking about his body and stuff like that, and he was like, just calm down. And I want to say, Kim, I get that you want some action, you want things to go a certain way, but you're also turning this man off by the thirst. So she thinks it's annoying that they have to take baby steps because they've been, talking for so long. And she wants to move the pillows so that he can hold her and not the pillows. And he was like, no, I like holding the pillows. Girl, Kim, he came back to that room. He came back to the room because he wants to be able to get something else out of you. Now, you done bought him a MacBook. You done bought him a PS5. Who knows whatever else he would need. So that's why he's just trying to bank on some more, electronics. So then we have Gino and Jasmine. Jasmine has some dresses laid out on the bed because she's getting ready to go to her divorce party with her friends. She asks Gino to pick out a dress. Gino picks out a dress. She picks up a different dress and goes and gets dressed. And if it is one thing I hate is when people do that. Don't ask me my opinion or for a suggestion if you're just going to go and do the opposite. That bothers me that pisses me off when people do that. So Gino was talking to in his confessionals, and he's saying how upset he is that Jasmine is on birth control. He said that they both agreed that, they would be trying to get pregnant on the first, while they were there. And I'm like, Gino, you keep saying all these red flags with her. You have your own concerns about her temper, her temperament. Why do you want to procreate with this woman? So Jasmine is finally officially divorced, so she's excited about that. So that's why her friends are throwing her a divorce party. Gino wants to know why he's not invited. Obvious reasons, Gino. Let's think about it, bruh. So she says she thinks that a night apart will be good for them. And then she was like, there's some food here, make sure you eat, get some water, have fun, love you, bye. And she just kind of walks out the door in a haste. She said that there is still a curfew there because of the pandemic. So they're just going to celebrate in a different suite instead of going to a club like they wanted to go to. So down at the party, she's talking shit about Gino like she typically does. Talking about how his house was decorated by his ex-wife and it's ugly and it's stupid. She talks about how, he's not the greatest in the bed. How he's very vanilla, very monotone. It's just missionary. How she's pulling out all her best moves. And I'm like, are you, girl? Okay, Jasmine. So her friends book her a stripper, and she's down there with the stripper rolling and gyrating and just having a grand old time. Meanwhile, Gino is up in the room packing for the trip that she booked and is making him pay for because he didn't want to spend the $500 on some clothes. So now he's going to spend $2,500 just to go to the trip. See how that doesn't make sense, Gino? Should have just went back and bought them Nautica shorts. So they get back to the room, and Jasmine is saying how having a stripper is not a big deal because he is a professional that was doing his job. And I'm like, really, girl? Because you would have been going ape shit if Gino had even looked at a woman that was walking down the hall, let alone him having a stripper in the room. So her friends and Jasmine and her friends go up to Gino to surprise him in the room because she kind of felt bad that he wasn't at the party and he's just kind of up in the room by himself. So they're up there and Gino was like, okay, they're drunk, like drunk. So one of her friends was like, yeah, it was wild down there, and pulls up the video of Jasmine and the stripper. And Gino was looking like, why are y'all showing me this bullshit? So he was like, he doesn't like it. He looks pissed. He's irritated. And it's kind of like when you have a bachelor and bachelorette party. There might be strippers at either party, but your soon-to-be spouse doesn't need to know what happened. You know what I mean? They don't want to know what happened. Like, it's while strippers, I guess you can say, are not a big deal depending on the person. Like, that doesn't mean you run back and tell somebody either. You know what I mean? So I thought that was kind of weird. So Jasmine asks if he's mad at her, and he was like, I'm not happy. And her friends are like, it's normal. And it's like, yeah, it's normal, but this is not a normal, like, relationship that they have going. They don't have a normal dynamic because y'all friend goes apeshit over everything. So it's weird. So they all leave, and Jasmine is like, it's not a big deal. She's never had a stripper before in her life. Like, why is he making a big deal about it? And Gino tells her, like, how would you feel if the roles were reversed? How would you feel if I was the one that not only had a stripper, but my friends were showing it to you in your face? And she was like, I'm sorry, but it's silly for you to think that I would be attracted to anybody but you. And again, it's like, Gino, the red flags are being bounced up in your forehead, and you're choosing to ignore them. But Gino did say he doesn't know if he wants to propose anymore. And I said, okay, Gino, don't propose to this crazy heifer. So then we have Caleb and Alina. They meet Elijah for dinner. It's awkward. Why is it awkward? Because apparently Elijah walked in their room in the middle of the night, saw that they were having sex, and stood and watched for a bit. Elijah, sweetheart, that's not what we do. So he said that he got the key. Elena gave him a key when they first moved in because he was coming over and helping her. And he wanted to come and get his brush. And Caleb was like, why did you need your brush that time of night? So Elijah was like, I was watching your body, and I was like, I like what I see, like trying to make light of it. Caleb wasn't for the bullshit. Caleb was not entertained. Caleb wasn't smiling. Caleb was like, this is not that, broski. This is not that. So Caleb is kind of nervous about Elijah leaving because even though Elijah has caused some tension with him, Elijah does a lot for Elena, and he's worried about everything kind of falling back on him because, again, he's not really prepared for her disability and everything that he's going to have to do to, like, help her out. He's not mentally prepared for that. So Elijah suggests that they play Never Have I Ever. And we all know that when somebody suggests Never Have I Ever, it never goes well. So Caleb ends up drinking for having sex with over 100 women. I said, really? Okay. So then Elijah is like, never have I ever kept a secret from somebody that I've known for 13 years. I said, oh, bullshit. Like, my God. Way to be obvious. But see, Elena liked Elijah when he was calling out bullshit about Caleb. But when he put your bullshit on Front Street, then you have a problem with it, and then you want to feel away. No, let Elijah put you on out there because you didn't have a problem when Elijah was all up in Caleb's business asking him a bunch of questions, though. That wasn't a problem for you. It's funny how the tables turn. So then Elijah was like, oh my God, go ahead, spit it out already, bitch. And I was like, Elijah, now I'm all for you, putting her shit out there, but that's really not cool. It's one thing for you to bring that up during Never Have I Ever. It's then another thing for you to be like, get it out there, bitch. Go ahead and get it out. You're stalling, whatever, whatever. Elena's secret is not even that big of a deal, I don't think. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's something that she could have told Caleb back in the day when it was going on. So Caleb was like, he's definitely talking about you because I don't have a secret. And she was like, well, we can talk about it when we get back to the room. So then Elijah was like, what stage of the relationship are you two in? And here's the thing. So you don't have a problem with Elijah asking Caleb questions, but you don't want him to ask you no questions. Got it. So Caleb said they have to they have more time to get to know each other. This is a process. Elena said she is tired of hearing about how he thinks they should get to know each other more. And then Caleb said, well, you're really not in a position, to say anything like that because you apparently have a big secret. So yeah, this is why I haven't been, rushing to commit to you. And then Elena said that's just an excuse because you didn't even know the secret before Elijah said something. And Caleb was like, yeah, and I'm damn glad that he did. And I said, yeah, Elena, girl, you're not going to win this argument. You're not going to win this argument. So then back at the hotel, y'all, Elena was struggling to get in that bed. And Caleb sat there on his phone and ignored her. And I was like, wow. I was kind of shocked that he was ignoring her the way that he was. I really was. I didn't expect him to... See, I don't know. I don't know if Elena is somebody that she wants the independence, like, don't help me do everything. But like, y'all, when that chair slipped, I just knew she was going to fall. So Elena finally gets in the bed and she says she was scared of admitting the truth because she doesn't know if he would still want to build a relationship with her. But my thing is that's part of being an honest adult. You can't want him to build a relationship with you and pressure him to build a relationship with you when you are out here lying and doing the most on, like to that effect. You're not being truthful yourself. So like, why should he want to jump up and rush and commit to you? On top of the fact that y'all live in two different countries, two different continents at that. But all right. So then she admits to living with her ex for a few months, which overlapped with when they were talking. Caleb was like, was it an ex at the time? She said, yes, that, it was her ex at the time. I don't think it's a big deal. Caleb said that that's one thing for you to be, living with him. Is another thing for you to have lied about it for as long as you did. So he said that this situation just kind of reinforces why he wants to kind of take things slow with her and why they need to get to know each other more. So she was like, that's kind of bull because we've known each other for 13 years. He said that's different, and the weight that she's putting on them being internet friends for 13 years is not the same as knowing somebody in real life. And that's probably the truest thing that any of these people have said since I've been watching the show. We've been together online. This is on the internet. This has nothing to do with us like kind of being together in person. It's a very big difference. So he said that she's putting too much significance on that, and he's putting hold on, y'all. She's putting too much significance on that, and he doesn't want to make a commitment to her at that time. They have another week left together. So then she was like, well, we need to have a talk before. And he's like, yeah, because who knows what else you're lying about, because Elijah had to push you to tell me that. So who knows what else you're lying about? It could be 1,000 other things that you are keeping from me that I won't find out because Elijah ain't here to push it out of you. So then he tells her, I already agreed to talk, and we will do that before I leave. But right now, I'm not going to commit to you. And she looks all She looks all hurt and swollen in the chest. And it's like, girl, don't be mad because this is the bullshit that you did this. You could have easily just said, you know, when I was talking to you, I was still living with my ex. He ended up being a roommate until one of us can move out. It's honestly not that big of a deal. She's making this into a big deal, making it seem like it's this huge, huge secret, while at the same time pushing him to commit to her. On top of the fact that she's like low-key racist. So, Mike and Ximena. Mike goes to get some coffee, and Ximena tells her sister that Mike is gross. Mike is leaving his clothes all over. He takes his clothes off, just puts them all over, jumps out of his clothes, as my mom would say. Jumps out of his clothes, leaves them wherever. He's been burping in front of her when he's like on top of her, he's farting. They show some clips, and it's like, now, Mike, if it slipped out, I guess, but I'm sorry, but that fart didn't seem like it just kind of slid out. It seemed like you felt it coming and you let it go. That's how that fart looked. So she said she wants a husband and not another kid to pick up after. Ximena said, I got 2 kids already. I do not need a third, sponsor or not. You know, throwing money at us or not, that's not what's gonna work for me. So since it's raining, they had like a date planned, but they're going to go hang out by the fireplace in the resort, have some drinks, and just talk. I do love and respect the fact that Ximena and Mike do a lot of talking. For them to need, the translator app, they're getting a lot of talking out in the open that we're not seeing with some of these other couples. So she tells him that there are some things that she needs to talk to him about that she don't like about him. When I tell y'all I hollered, because I'm sure it didn't sound as bad when she actually said it, but that translator app is shady. So she mentions him throwing the clothes all around, leaving them on the floor. She says she don't want him burping and farting in front of her, and if he can't get the shit together, then they're not going to be together. And Mike is like, well, I didn't do it on purpose. That stuff just kind of happened. But he's like, he's concerned and he feels a way that she would not want to be with him because of that. And I'm like, well, Mike, look, Mike strikes us. This seems like his first real girlfriend. And my whole thing is like, nobody wants you to be farting and burping and stuff like that in front of them. You just met this woman. So it's a little concerning that you're being that much of a slob already. So he didn't know she had doubts, but now he's kind of questioning some things because, why would she be so quick to write off the relationship? But we see next week he's asking her father if he can marry her, so kudos to Mike and Ximena. She don't want to be with him. I think she thought that he might look a little better in person, and he doesn't. So, Hamza and Memphis. Y'all know Hamza and Memphis work my nerves more than anybody else, right? And it's really Memphis. So, Memphis still mad about this age shit. It doesn't matter. 26, 27, 28. You're still older than him. Okay? So then they say they are traveling to the embassy so that they can get a document because she needs this particular document so that a foreigner can get married in the country. Hamza said he's going to call his friend for a ride. And then if his friend can't, then, they'll just take a bus. And she was like, a bus? I'm not taking a bus. And I'm like, girl, you doing a lot. Y'all got to get there one way or another. And then she was like, I don't want to take a bus with her clothes because of the pandemic. You got your ass on the international flight. You're staying in some people's house that you don't know. You don't care about the pandemic, Memphis. You don't care about the pandemic at all. But you draw the line at getting on the bus. Okay, girl. So she's also worried about them making it to the embassy because it is 2 hours away. So they plan on staying the night because it is a 2-hour drive. So they're going to stay the night at the hotel, which gives them some alone time, yada, yada, yada. Hamza calls his friend. His friend is able to come get them. And when he gets there, he forgot his driving papers. So he has to go back to his house and get it. Memphis is pissed, but his friend is like, it's going to take 5 minutes. So Memphis like pushes Hamza out the car. She's pissed because they're not going to make it in time. She's, doing her pouting, yelling, whatever. And Hamza said he is sick of the bullshit at this point. He is sick of her attitude. She said that he doesn't prepare enough. Now, my question is, Memphis, why didn't you prepare enough for this? Why didn't you prepare enough? Why didn't you get your ass up earlier in the day? Why didn't you make the necessary phone calls and do the research to make sure that y'all had a cab or that y'all had transportation to get there? And you can't put this on that whole, I want him to be a man type shit, because you're the one that wants to get married. You're the one that wants to get married so that you can bring him back to the States with no problem. Like, I don't know why he want to marry her bitchy ass anyways. So she said that she feels like she's being a mom and that she's the parent in the relationship. He's not taking this serious. Girl, he's just not as high strung as you are. He's not as desperate as you are to get married. Like, I don't see why she is like acting a fucking fool there. Aren't you there for 3 weeks? So you go get the damn thing tomorrow. Like, I feel like she was just really putting 20 on 10 just to be complaining, because Memphis seems like she just wants to complain all the time. So she said that she needs someone in her life, in her and her kids' life, that she can trust, and she's worried about Hamza not being that person. Sure enough, in a blink of an eye, the friend is back. He probably lived up the street, but now she's mad because they're not going to make it there in time, so they're going to have to go in the morning. What is the big deal? My thing is, y'all were staying there overnight anyways. So whether you go tonight before y'all go to the hotel, or whether y'all go to the hotel and wake up bright and early to be there in the morning, I guess I didn't see what the big deal was, and I didn't see why she was making it seem like this is solely Hamza's fault, when you have some fault in this too. You definitely do. So they finally get there. He asked her if she's tired, and she said, yes, what you expect? I had a long drive. Girl, 2 hours is not that long of a drive. Yeah, Memphis infuriates me every single episode, and it's because of her attitude. So then Hamza said he's going to make it up with the hotel, because having sex in the hotel is different than having sex in your family's house. And I said, I know that's right, Hamza. She ain't going to call you no 1 minute man no more. So she's happy with the room. It looks like a loft. There's like a couch little area. Then upstairs is a nice bedroom. It's a pretty hotel room. So they go to the hotel bar, and she orders like a double shot of Grey Goose. And it was like, pour more. And I'm like, so she mentions that she wants to get wasted tonight. They get back to the room though, and Hamza is drinking, and she's like, not too much. Don't drink too much. Well, why did you order his as a double? This woman can't be this annoying. This has to be editing. It has to be her putting on for this show. I refuse to believe that this woman is this annoying. So then she tells him that they need to talk, because she's scared that she won't be able to trust him because of his age. And then she says, if we don't get married on this trip, then basically when I go home, I'm single. He's mad about that because he feels like, if you really love me, why would it be something as simple as that, as, getting this piece of paper in the particular time frame that you want me to so we can get married? Why would that, why would that be the sole driving force in a relationship? So he asked her, do you want me or do you want marriage? And she was like, I want you, but and I'm like, Memphis gets on my nerves, y'all. I hope they don't get married. I hope the embassy denies her shit, because she is annoying. But that has been 90 Day Fiance. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, thumbs up the video, hop into the comment section, all that good stuff. Catch y'all in the next one. Oh, my shirt is from the Classic Shop. A fellow Milwaukeean has this. She went to college with my brother. Dope t-shirts, hats, joggers, anything you can think of. So it is the Classic Shop. Shop is SHOPPE. You can find them on Instagram. If you guys have not already, follow me on Instagram at Tammy Talks. and then you'll be able to find the classic shop that way. Catch you guys in the next one.